Hey guys, Eric here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Before we tune in to the details today, I have one little favor I'd like to ask you. Are you listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? If you are, and if you haven't done it already, it would be so helpful to Anita and I if you could leave a 5-star review. It could just be putting 5 stars or even writing down something that you really enjoyed and learned from the episodes that you've heard so far. This kind of help would really improve our ability to give you better content and also to help other people find out about Taiwanica. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a few moments to do that if you haven't already, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we really hope you enjoyed today's episode.
It looks like cheese. It's cheese powder. And so you mix it, and then if you are, a cool guy like me, you'll add some butter to it.
Why do you like butter so much?
Butter's great.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and so you add the butter, and it makes it really sticky and delicious. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the 3 strangest food combinations that you'll find in Taiwan and the USA. What's up, everybody? I'm Eric. This is episode 36, and we are going to dive into some really fun stuff. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am a host here on Taiwanica, as well as a teacher on Amazing Talker, currently looking for students. And I am a life coach who focuses on spiritual coaching and mental health coaching. Also, for any cancer patients out there, if you're looking for someone to talk to, you can reach out to me in the descriptions down below. And with me today is the other fantastic host on Taiwanica, Anita.
Hello, everybody. I'm Anita. I'm the other host on Taiwanica, also a teacher on Amazing Talker. Also currently recruiting new students. If you're interested, please go check out my profile. I will ask Eric to have a link down below.
Excellent. Okay.
And
that's my work.
Yeah, and also a life coach to help you to build healthy and loving relationship.
All right, so we're going to dive right on into our topic time. So we are going to talk about some delicious things and some strange things, some juicy things, maybe some dry things.
I'm not promising they will be delicious, but definitely going to be strange.
I believe they're going to be delicious, at least on my side of the world.
All right. That's how you're going to do it.
That's how we're going to do it. Yeah, so without further ado, Anita, you tell us first about Taiwan and their strangest food combinations.
So most of the time that we are in Taiwan, we don't think that's totally normal. But if you really think about it, it's like, no, it's not normal. The very first one is the things is very common that you can see in night market. The main course is steak. Everybody loves steak, right? In the night market, you cannot just see steak. You can also see other things. For example, like pork chop or chicken, like the chicken thigh, basically.
Sure.
So basically, this thing is called night market steak. We just directly translated from Chinese. We just call it 夜市牛排.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, they have this kind of dish is like of course, they will pre-cook the meat, whatever meat that you order on the really real stove. On the other side of the stove, they will prepare this cast iron plate. So they will put this cast iron plate directly on the stove. So make it really, really hot. And the thing about this is the base is the wooden holder. You can put that super hot iron plate on top of the wooden thing. And then they put the steak on plate, the iron plate. That's your main course. But it's not just that. We will also put noodles.
What? Wait. Noodles with steak?
Yes.
This isn't beef noodle?
No.
Oh, all right.
And raw egg.
And eat what? Wait. It sounds like a breakfast meal.
Oh my god, it is so good. If you wanted to eat it for breakfast,
you could.
But usually we had it for dinner. It is very delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's not the, sorry, the final part is they will put sauce on top of it. So the next time when you go to night market, you will see someone is holding like a napkin really high. There's something in front of them that goes. That's the night market steak because, like I mentioned, the cast iron plate is super hot.
Okay.
So imagine if you put hot sauce on it, they will start to
Sizzle.
sizzle.
I'll drizzle on your sizzle.
Sizzle.
That sounds like a spicy sauce.
Yes, like sauce is dancing. So that's why you have to
Oh.
hold up the
Shield.
They'll eat the meat first. Just eat meat. Sometimes they will give you vegetables. Sometimes they don't. But anyways, eat the meat, and I will mix the egg with the noodles and just mix it together and eat it. Oh, just so good.
I've seen Anita eat this.
That is really good.
And I lose her for like a good 10 minutes.
I went to a different place. Or
Yeah, she's just like completely consumed by this thing. She's taken me to so many of these places in Taiwan. It's like, you gotta try this. I'm like, okay, sure. And it comes to me, I'm like, what am I looking at? It just looks so
Where's
weird.
your start?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
But if you are a foreigner, you should definitely try
Try
it at
it.
least once because it's definitely the meat. You would think that it would taste just like, grilled meat or like a, pan-fried meat, but it actually has a very unique texture and
Right,
flavor.
yeah.
Something that you don't usually have. So definitely a recommendation.
Yeah, so we're talking about food combination, right? So even though this iron plate has tons of food on it, it's not considered as combination. They are a set. So here comes a second part. Make it the strange combination, which is usually in this place they will provide some free stuff. Never say no to free stuff. Anyway, so the first thing is before they are preparing your meat, there will be corn soup. Usually we drink corn soup before the meat because they need some time to prepare those kind of meat.
Oh, so it's like an appetizer.
So you drink the soup, just warm up your stomach. Say, hey, wake up, ready for some A sauce.
The correct way is sizzle, by the way.
So you drink the course when you're waiting. And then you finish this whole bunch of really good stuff. And then here comes the weird combination. I think the corn soup and steak itself, here comes the weird part. After you eat the steak, they will have black tea.
Wow. So cold black tea.
Yeah.
That seems so weird. You eat hot, and then blast it with a cold drink. How do you feel afterwards?
You feel refreshing. Because, like the steak, I mentioned they will have like sauce and noodles and eggs. Those flavors are super rich, right? Like the sauce and meat, noodles,
They are
the
very
carbs,
rich.
very rich. After that, you drink a cup of black tea. Guess what? You are ready for more sweet things. Like you're moving on. Actually, it's like a ceremony. You finish the main course and then black tea and then set, go. You can't have anything else, like,
Wow,
the
so you just
sweet
keep
things.
going in the night market.
Yeah.
It's like before you even start walking around the night market, you should
go
go
first.
steak place first, eat that, and then basically it gets you into the night market mode. Like now it's time to eat whatever I want.
Yeah, like 地瓜球, bubble tea, everything else.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah,
So
anyways.
what's next on your list?
The
Okay.
next one I'm going to share is only people in south of Taiwan would do this, which is tomato. Do you think tomato is a vegetable or fruit?
It's a fruit.
Why?
I don't know. It's got seeds in it.
There are lots of vegetables with seeds in it.
Name one.
Pumpkin.
You win.
Tomato is tomato. If you cook it savory, cook it salty, that's vegetable. If you eat it directly, that's a fruit. But here comes the weird part. In Taiwan, they will eat tomato,
With?
a special sauce.
Ooh.
That's usually garlic with soy sauce. If I just say garlic with soy sauce, what do you think this sauce is for?
Usually for dumplings.
Exactly. South of Taiwan, they usually use this. They chop the garlic really fine, mince it, and they don't use regular soy sauce. I don't know if we have this in the USA, but there's another type of soy sauce. It's thick. Because usually the soy sauce is really watery, right? The texture is just like water. But in Taiwan, we have this thick soy sauce. It's just thick. So usually they will use that thick soy sauce with minced garlic, mix it together, and they will use tomato to dip into the sauce and eat it.
You know, after you say this, I actually think I've had this before.
Alright. You tell everybody that.
No, I'm just saying. They cut up the tomatoes,
Yeah.
right? And then they put it into the fridge. And then they'll pull it out and it'll be cold when you're eating it.
It could be cold and sometimes you just eat that directly.
So they'll just chop it and then you
Yeah.
eat it. Oh, fresh.
I think most of the people eat it like frozen one because they say it's refreshing.
Yeah, I think it is. I like it. But what about you? What do you think about it?
We'll be right back.
I really like journaling, but I always end up with no time or cannot find a journal that I really like. So I was like, hey, let me create one. So here it is, a self-help journal created and designed by Anita. Inside the book, I provide very simple and easy to follow template. For example, in the morning, to-do list. In the evening, gratitude practice. So you can use a very little time to start this healthy habit. Go ahead and check it out in our description down below or go to our buymeacoffee.com. It is refreshing. The garlic sauce part is the one I don't get.
So when you have it together, what's your feeling?
I've never had it together.
Oh, you never had it?
No.
Oh, you gotta try. You gotta try before you hate it.
I'm good, thank you. How do you feel?
I just feel like the tomato juice is really refreshing, right? And then the garlic, usually, if you eat it directly, it has a punch, right?
Yeah.
It has a real good punch. And then soy sauce, when you eat it, it's like the mixture of the tomato juice and the soy sauce and the garlic, they just, because of the water inside of the tomato, it makes it all kind of like mellow down. It's like, cool down, guys. Let's all have a good party together. And then the soy sauce and garlic are like, yeah, all right, we can chill in here. And then when you eat it, it just has this really relaxing flavor.
So this one, I think, personally, think it's really weird. But like Eric said, I should try it before I judge it. But anyways, there's another way they will eat it.
Okay.
That one, I also never tried it, but I will willing to try,
All right.
which is dry plum. That's a very popular.
Like a side dish? Yeah, sure.
So you stuff one of the dry plum inside
The tomato. Really?
Yeah, and you eat it. That is so good.
I've never seen that before.
That is so good.
That sounds so good. Dry plum and then a half cut tomato? Hell
Yeah.
yeah, sign me up.
Because the most common one for us to eat tomato is to use the plum powder. You know, like every time you go back to my parents' house, they used to have that. Plum powder is really good with guava and tomato.
Interesting.
So, like, what if you have a fresh dry plum? Why do you need to use artificial plum
Right,
powder, right?
right.
So they just put that inside of
middle.
it. That combination, I think, is really interesting
That's
that you
cool.
can try. But that with minced garlic sauce, thick soy sauce, is only popular in south of Taiwan.
Cool. So you just technically shared with us two strange combinations with
The one
tomato.
with plum is not strange.
It's strange to Americans. Definitely, let's go on to the third one.
This one I tried it myself.
And it was bad.
It's so bad.
All right. Well, I believe you. So let's go ahead and hear what it is.
All right. We mentioned about soy milk
Yeah.
from the episode that we talking about coffee. So if you missed that one, you can go back to listen to it.
Yes. What's the big coffee difference?
Yeah.
So you can definitely check that out.
But basically, the point I wanted to mention here is soy milk in America and the soy milk in Taiwan, it's so different. And here, it's just really gentle, I would say.
Very light.
Very mellow. But the one in Taiwan, we have like this fragrance from the beans.
It's thick. It's powerful. It's your friend.
You know, it just the smell is very strong. When you drink it, it's like, oh, soy milk. So it's very special. But here comes the weird part.
What's that?
We have a thing called salty soy milk.
Ooh, that actually sounds kind of interesting.
So if I just say salty soy milk, what is your understanding of this thing?
I think of soy milk, but with a little bit of salt inside of it. That's exactly what I
I
think.
wish that's what it is. It's not. So before I dive in to talk about what's inside of this salty soy milk, there is a special place in Taiwan. We call them breakfast place, but it's not like the breakfast you usually go in the morning. This kind of breakfast place, they open around 10 p.m., 10, 11 p.m.
Wow, that's pretty late.
all the way till the next day, probably 11 or 12 p.m.
So
time.
they're open pretty much all morning.
Yes, basically, or
Got it.
morning. So this kind of place they usually sell, the famous place they definitely sell is soy milk.
I see.
Yeah. So you just go there, after you went to the club or hangover, you can go to this kind of place. So this kind of salty soy milk, you can find it in this kind of store. In Chinese, it's called 永和豆浆店. But basically, they just direct translate will be soy milk shop. So it's not just sell for soy milk.
Let's get to the weird part. I'm so excited.
So salty soy milk. Usually they will have this soy milk really, really hot. So they will get the bowl ready. You put fresh, chopped green onion, vinegar.
Are we having dumplings?
And there is one thing that's also very special in Taiwan, which is the dried radish.
Oh,
Like they usually chop to like small cubes. Usually it's dry and salty, crispy, crunchy, that kind of texture. So right now, so far, our bowl has green onion, soy sauce, vinegar, and
radish.
So every base is ready. And they will put really, really hot soy milk into the bowl. Some places they will put raw egg into the bowl also. So when the hot boil of soy milk like into the soup, into the bowl, they'll cook the egg. And some other places, if you like spicy, you can put like a spicy oil to it. And I think this one, it depends on, personal preference. You will put youtiao into the salty soy milk.
Like oil sticks?
Yeah, that thing.
The bread that's just covered in oil and deep fried, and you put it into this bowl of soup?
Yeah, and just imagine this kind of thing, the soy milk combined with green onion, soy sauce, vinegar.
It just sounds like a salty soup, but with soy milk instead of water. It sounds really gross.
It is really
Oh
gross.
my god.
And the thing is, you have to mix it together. But everything in this bowl just very confusing. They are not supposed to be together. But this soy milk, they are forcing them to be together.
Exactly. Like WTF, right? Okay, so what the hell?
You sounded like teenager. So this thing is I don't get it, and I don't understand what is the purpose of eating this kind of food. Because if you want, like you said, before I told you the ingredient, you're thinking about maybe dumpling or dumplings.
Totally.
You can order, dumpling or dumpling on the side while you're drinking soy milk. That will make sense. But I don't know. Somehow they wanted to put it together.
That's just so weird.
That's the things I do not recommend that you try.
I'm shocked right now. Like, why do Taiwanese people
I
do this
don't
to
know.
themselves?
I don't
It just sounds
know.
like a stomach ulcer. You're going to get so much pain from all eating this stuff. Which, by the way, we talk about that in another episode about Taiwanese and American diets, which is a great episode. You can check it out on our podcast list.
I think like Taiwanese people's way of thinking about food, like every meal the main course must be savory.
Yeah, sure.
So if you go, for example, if you have a midnight snack in this kind of soy milk place, usually, you either order like youtiao with soy milk, but where's the savory? It just bland. So they just, we need something, something must be like salty or savory. So I guess that's the reason why they invented this kind of
It makes sense. It's very Taiwanese. It doesn't make me surprised at all to know that this exists in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But if you go to Taiwan and you see this, now you won't be surprised because you heard it from us.
Yeah.
Give it a try. Let us know if you did try it in the comments below. So Anita shared with us some really interesting combinations today. How do you feel?
I want some 夜市 steak
Oh my God. She's hungry, everybody. Watch out. So it's time
for the USA.
strange food combinations. So mine are going to be pretty basic, straightforward. The ones that are going to be like, yeah, I've maybe seen this on a movie or I've heard this on another podcast. But basically what you're going to see is going to be stuff that when Anita found out about them, blew her mind. And we're going to share those with you today. So the first one is a childhood favorite. Every child has had this at least once in their life. As for me, I've had it in definitely very different varieties, but I'm going to share with you the classic, and that is PB&J. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If you want to hear some funny stuff, you can check out buymeacoffee.com/Taiwanica. So with the PB&J sandwich, it's basically how it sounds. It has peanut butter and jelly, and they are one on each side of the sandwich. And basically what you do is you slap them together. Okay. And then what do? Well, of course, you eat them. It has this salty texture and also this sweet sensation. And the peanut butter is kind of warm, but the jelly is kind of cold. And so you have all of these different sensations going on in your mouth.
Ice and fire.
Ice and fire with the bread to soften it up. And yes, you have a question.
No, I don't have a question. I just wanted to mention, as a Taiwanese, our understanding of sandwich, because sandwich is from Western country. So in Taiwan, where do we learn sandwich is from the breakfast store. Okay, so sandwich direct translated to Chinese is 三明治.
Yeah.
Okay, san, so it's the number 3.
Yeah.
Right. So in our brain, whenever we talk about sandwich, it must be 3 layers. But the real sandwich that Eric just mentioned, it's basically just 2 pieces of toast together. That's a sandwich.
Yeah, and this is where one of the type of sandwiches that we have, but that's very, very common, especially with kids. I said I had varieties of these. Were those? So you can change up the peanut butter with other things. You know how peanut butter has the word butter in it? You can take away the peanut and just eat butter with jelly. I've done that.
I think only you like that.
Or on the other hand, you could do peanut butter and butter.
Peanut butter and butter.
Oh, it's
double the butter.
Double the butter, double the fun. All right. It is just so delicious.
How would you do it? One side of the bread use the peanut butter. The other side use butter.
You got it. So this is the first one. And Dunn has tried it. And if you ever come to the USA, you can find it in stores or you can make it yourself. We have peanut butter everywhere. Anita knows ever since she's lived here, she's been eating peanut butter pretty much every day.
But in the beginning, I thought, you guys say PB&J.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's PB&J? You guys say peanut butter and jelly, the sandwich version. I was like, okay, can I just take peanut butter? Because I didn't know they're together. So I was like, yeah, and then when I ordered it, it was like, I took a bite and I was like,
it was heaven on earth.
It's not heaven on earth, it's just fun to eat.
Yeah, so
that
fun
good.
to eat that she keeps on eating it.
Because someone insists to make me every single day.
And who's happy about it?
So the next one
is mac and cheese plus hot dog. What? So, if you don't know what mac and cheese is, just basically imagine this. You like pasta. Everyone likes pasta. It's also called Italian noodle in Chinese. Italy mian, Italy noodle, right? They're basically tiny versions of Italian noodles. And what you do is it's in a box, and you dump all the noodles into boiling water. And then when they're boiled, you take them out, and then you put in this little powder into the noodles, and it's yellow and it kind of looks like cheese. It's cheese powder. And so you mix it, and then if you are a cool guy like me, you'll add some butter to it.
Why do you like butter so much?
Butter's great.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and so you add the butter and it makes it really sticky and delicious. But that's not all. You look at this thing, man, and you're like, oh, it really needs to have some protein in here.
Don't pretend that you're eating healthy. You're preparing mac and cheese. I was like, we need some protein.
You gotta make it so that you feel real full. So you can add, one of the most common things to add is some hot dog wieners into it.
Jesus.
But you don't just add a wiener into the mac and cheese, all right? No. You have to cut it up. And my recommendation is to pan fry it before you dump it into your mac and cheese, because it gives that little extra crispy taste and gets the oil start to come out. But some people like to eat it raw. I mean, like, they have these processed wieners that you can just basically just add right on in and eat them. People do that too, and that's delicious. Okay, so this is one of our very weird food combinations, is just to have mac and cheese with a cut up wiener hot dogs. So if you ever want to give it a try, definitely do so. It's very good. I mean, I don't eat hot dogs anymore, but when I was a kid, I loved it.
I think in Taiwan, it's like in the box. Basically, it's like feels like a premix box. One box, you can finish one meal, which is mac and cheese. I think you can get it from PX Mart or Costco in Taiwan.
What about hot dog wieners? Can you get those?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Easily.
Well, then there you go. You don't even need to wait to come to America. You go to your local Costco and get some materials, and you can thank us later, okay?
And if you wanted to make super Taiwanese, you can use Taiwanese traditional hot sausage. We'll see how it goes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, just make sure it's cooked, okay? Okay.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so we're going to dive into number
Jesus
3,
Christ.
and it's going to be a delicious one.
Jesus Christ.
And it's already kind of giving little spoilers over there. So, in the USA, we have every single type of food that you can imagine. We have Taiwanese food, we have Mexican food, we have Indian food. We just have it all. And so what we like to do is to have street carts. And if you're interested in learning more about street carts, we have an episode about fast food versus street food on Taiwanica. You can look at that. It has a cool hamburger logo that Anita made. But in these street carts, what we like to do is to basically combine foods into different ways. Kind of like making new puzzles with the same pieces. And so one of the things that we like to do is to create hamburgers differently. And so this is what this one is. The strange food combination is basically you have all of the fixings, the inside of a hamburger, but then we add another American favorite. And it's another type of sandwich. It's kind of like a PB&J, except this time we're grilling the bread and we're only putting cheese in the middle. In other words, we got ourselves a grilled cheese. And now you're thinking, Eric, grilled cheese. But you have to split the grilled cheese sandwich in half to be able to put the burger stuff in the middle. And you're right, that would be really weird if you only had one grilled cheese sandwich. So why not make it 2? So what we do is called the cheeses. And that is you basically have 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, and then you combine in between the grilled cheese sandwiches a hamburger. So more cheese, the more fun. And actually, to give you an example of this wonderful experience, Anita and I, when she first came to the USA, I took her to the cheeses land, and she found cheeses. And
you say, I have a surprise for you.
I did. And then when we got there,
It was so big.
yeah, but when she took a bite into it,
You know, cheese. Cheese has a magic power that when you took a bite, you just cannot stop.
yeah.
You just have to finish the whole thing.
And 5 minutes later, we both finished our cheeses. And we found the cheese lord. And it was just, cheese on earth. It was just so good.
That's really scary because after you eat that, you feel like your heart slowly, slow down, and you feel like the cheese just covered you. It's not all of your lungs and everything, organs. And
You
stuff,
just
right?
basically become cheese.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And so that's the last combination that I would like to share today. In USA, we are really getting creative about these food combinations. If you go to any place where there are food carts in the USA these days, you're definitely going to find at least one of them that are getting creative, who are being imaginative, their food. It's fun. It's really fun. A lot of the stuff that they make is great.
Yeah.
So we definitely recommend, if you are in the USA, to give the food cart places a chance. They're local. They need the support. And trust me, your money is going really into a good place,
Yeah.
i.e. your mouth is going to thank you. Which ones did you prefer? Did you prefer the Taiwanese ones, or did you prefer the ones in the USA? Definitely let us know in the comments at wherever you're listening. And if you are interested in learning more about this, we have more information on our blog. You can check out our blog at taiwanicapodcast.blogger.com. Thanks, Anita.
You're welcome. It was fun. I mean, yeah, it's just like that. I think the same in Taiwan is those night market vendors. They also invented more and more special combinations. So basically, it's the same. Like food truck in the USA, night market in Taiwan. Give it a try. You'll be surprised.
Exactly. Taiwan's are also great.
Yep.
So that's all we're going to do for today. If you want to check out the script, you can look at the link in our blog down below. And yeah, thanks for listening today. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow or give us and if you're listening to us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe.
Yay.
And finally, if you want to listen to even more content like this, funnier stuff, we also have a place called buymeacoffee.com/Taiwanica. We would love to have you there and listen to more of our content.
Thank you guys for your time today. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.